Hey, folks, welcome back to the Pulse. Merry Christmas to you. And if you're a druid, man, today's a big day for you. It's the winter solstice, and I'm sure that you're doing whatever you druids do. Folks, welcome back. This is a special episode of the Pulse. It's 1 o'clock Central Texas time. We've got some guests today, and you may be feeling down, right? And of course, this time of year, you don't want to be feeling down. You may have the blues, so to speak. And one of our guests, Danny the singer, who's coming on here in a bit, he's been on many times, and some of the greatest moments in crypto heartbeat history have happened with Danny the singer. And maybe we can have some of that again today. But Frank is joining him as well, and so I'm excited about them coming in to talk about their new single called the Bear Market Blues, which is cool. And we'll talk about crypto. We'll talk about a bunch of things, but it's really special. Once you get into like after the 20th of December, it feels like things kind of, slow down as it relates to work. And then, the family stuff starts invading on you. And then, you got to finish up those last minute kind of gift giving stuff and buying stuff. So there's kind of a frantic nature of it. But then you're anticipating, hopefully, resting with people that you care about and love. And so we're gonna spread a little love today and hopefully relate to you and promote the pulse chain and do all those things, because here's the thing. I know every single one of us has gifts and talents and experiences that can be beneficial to one another, and that could not be more evident than what we're going to share today, because people are willing to be transparent, bring their gifts to the table and say, hey, I'm going to bring what I got, and hopefully that is helpful to you and to me. And of course, we appreciate the pumping of our bags, right? That's kind of the crypto term. But you know what? You're kind of pumping the bags of just the value of life together in community. So thank you so much for being here. Before we do that, let's say hello to you in the chat, and then I want to show you this song, and then we're going to bring in the creators, the authors, and perfecters. So here we go. Tank Crypto, number one, man. What's up? I got a frog in my throat. Taryn, good to see you. J Pond, let's go. Good morning to you. David Lee, all the way from southwestern Indiana. It's so good to see you. Rich Liberation, MT Coiner, Robert Keller, good to see you. All the usual suspects. Pamela Stimpson, it is so good to see you as well. Once again. Francis Paul, what's going on? Regarding Druids, research what they did on their holiday. Oh my gosh, Taryn, you've got such the historic perspective. I love it, love it. Hexonium, good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Ruskino, good to see you. What is that? Like 100,000% still confident in this ecosystem, and that comes with Shrewd Resource. Awesome. Dan Jersenkowski, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And then of course Quinn herself, always good. And of course, Danny can't help but upstage himself in the chat, which is fantastic. Folks, without further ado, let's share this awesome song, and then let's bring in the guys. So let me present my screen, and let's check this out. This is the Bear Market Blues. This is the latest support for Pulse Chain. Let's check it out.
Every day I wake up, feels like a breakup. Red candles down, people flirting bad news. I've got the bear market blues, the crypto bear market blues. Every night I lie awake, red candles light the way. My baby kisses me, but I'm not in the mood. I've got the bear market blues, the crypto bear market blues. Charts say the bottom's in, we're making our way to a bull rushing in. Front up back is what I'm dreaming about. Somewhere near the top, I'm cashing out. Diamond hands holding on, dry powder's long gone. And friends are telling me I seem a little confused. I got the bear market blues, the crypto bear market blues. I just can't take these bear market blues. I just can't escape these bear market blues. Bear market blues. You may have heard of Bitcoin and Ethereum, but have you heard of Pulsechain? It's a fork of Ethereum with a faster network and cheaper fees. If you'd like to experience true DeFi, come on over and check out Pulsechain at pulsechain.com.
Hold the line, folks. The bull market is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the performer and the author of this fantastic song, Danny the singer. What's up, Frank? Conversations in the house. What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Danny, I'm going to start with you. You have produced many, many songs, many kind of parody things to support crypto. I love the fact that you are out there in this, this kind of bear market, producing content to share the value of the Pulse Chain with folks. Why do you do it, Danny? Why do you do it?
I love this community. I love this community. And first of all, I just want to start off by saying thanks for having us on the show.
You bet.
Frank and I'd love sometime today. I'd like to let y'all know how we met and kind of encourage people that way, because there's a story behind that. And I wait for somebody to say something about my Christmas get up.
What's funny is we just watched you in all these outfits, the lumberjack, the cowboy. And here's the thing, a shout out to your wife, because if there's anyone I know, I can just imagine how many harebrained things you come up with. And you're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And you're going to be this, and this is going to get filmed. And she's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So shout out, Camille. She's the one that deserves.
Yeah. She's a real team player. She's like, I'll do it for you.
Once again.
And my daughter was like in there videoing us in our bed, which is kind of weird as well, So
True. I thought that a couple times when I watched it. Frank, so Frank, you're the one who I think wrote this, right? Danny's performed it. Tell us about that process, and why'd you do it? Why are you in on this routine?
Well, thanks, Matt, and so thanks for having us on. I'm really excited to be here. So I'm a songwriter, and I've been writing I mostly write lyrics and melodies, and I've been writing songs for probably 30 years, right? So when I met Danny at the Hex conference in Austin, and we had lunch together, big group of us all went to lunch together at a barbecue place, and we talked a little bit there. But it wasn't until I think we were by the elevator or something, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, I didn't get a chance to really talk to you at lunch. I heard you write songs," and he says, "I'm the singer," and and I wasn't aware of him to begin with, and we started talking, and he said, "I'd like to do something together," and I was like, "Okay," and he was describing what he wanted, and I got out my pen. And I just started taking notes, and I said, I'll have something in 30 days. So, I didn't know what it was going to be, and I think when I first came up with the Bear Market Blues, and the melody was about August 15th, about, a week or two after the conference. So, and after watching his video on Pulse Chain, I thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, so I specifically wrote the song for him. Like literally, I could just see how funny he was and how much he enjoyed being on camera. And, I've studied classical voice. I did improv at Second City for a while. It's not something I want to do, and I didn't want to be the front man for this. And I was like, Danny can be the front man. So great. So that's that. And, I sent it to him, and, I knew he would do a video for it. And, So that's in the process for me was, it took a while for me to come up with the lyrics, even though they look like they're pretty simple, right? Well, that's the challenge of songwriting. How do you take something, whittle it down about what's going on in the community, and then put it into, one page of lyrics?
Yeah.
So I did that, and
you also sent it off. You also sent off and had some guys in Nashville record the music.
Yep. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. So that music is actually like professional musicians in Nashville that he had put together the music. So whenever he was first he was like, "Hey, here's the song, here's some lyrics," and he recorded it himself, like with his phone, And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but it was just like no music. It was just like, And I was thinking, okay, what's the feel going to be like, And next thing you know, he sends me this track from Nashville of like professional musicians, and I was like, son of a gun, okay, he's got this, he's serious, So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you. I've used them before, and I knew that I could rely on them to really get a nice product, a good recording. And then it was just a matter of sending him the original recording and then sending him a recording without any music or without anybody singing, so that he could, bring his chops in.
Nice. Well, it's so crazy. I think about anybody who's watching this. This is a perfect example of the creativity of people in our community and willingness to, this isn't just like some vanity thing. I mean, you guys did this specifically to relate to people and promote the Pulse chain.
Absolutely.
And so, think about that. Like, here are two guys who are like, hey, we got gifts, skills, abilities. Let's bring them to the table here in any way we can. Right. And I think that, what I love about the internet is you can do that now. Right. I mean, the fact that you went to, get professional musicians and all that, it's just, in a land or a sea of memes, finding stuff that can cut through, that can help people, learn and see more and all that stuff. So I really appreciate it. And I always want to support anybody who's doing anything with their creative ability to promote what we all hold. I mean, it's huge.
Could I say a couple things about it as well?
Yes, please, Danny.
So whenever we met, we met at the Pulse conference, and just
Maddie Allen's Hex. Oh, did we meet at Pulse too? PulseCon or Hex? We met in the Austin Hex conference, right?
It was in Austin, but I thought that was Pulse deal. It was Hex.
I don't know. It was Maddie Allen's thing.
Yeah, Austin. It would have been Hex if it was Maddie. Probably.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's the in-person deal, and I just want to say something about that, because the reason for going over there to physically be at an event like that is for the purpose of, I think, number one, supporting each other, supporting what we're doing. A lot of people say, what's the point of going in person? I can just sit there and watch it on, watch a live stream. And obviously I see that side of it, of someone not being able to travel or not having the funds to go out of town or something. But there's a huge value in getting together, meeting other people, and that wouldn't have come together had I not physically gone, had Frank had not physically gone to the conference. And so you have that. And what was the conversation that we were having? It was really about how can we encourage this community, because the bear market there's some challenging things. My brother was telling me about some of the really challenging things that he was experiencing, and some of his buys were at the top of the Hex. So thankful that he dollar cost average in. But the point is that there's a lot of people hurting, a lot of people just kind of feeling discouraged. I'd even had a talk with Matt that day, and he was feeling a little discouraged, right? And so it was like, what can we do to encourage our cohorts, our fellow community members? And so that was the conversation Frank and I was having. What can we do to encourage people? What are some different themes of encouragement? And that was and sometimes you just do that through humor. And then, and so that was, I believe, was the main point. And then also Frank was like, how can we reach outside of this community, with something that's high quality? So, yeah, we can do a lot of things, and we can piddle around and do things that are real simple for each other. But if we're trying to reach out to the broader, scope of people, then having higher quality is, and that's why Frank went to all the trouble of having a band record it, and we took the time to record it really well and that kind of thing. So yeah, kudos to I would say Maddie for putting on those conferences, and for people showing up to be able to actually interact with each other and do stuff like this. So
yeah, no, there's tremendous value. I don't know of any other community who's doing this. And I think you're right. There's some sort of multiplication factor happens when you're in person, because these type of things come out of it, and that's fantastic. In the description, folks, there's a link directly to Danny's tweet, which makes it really easy for you to share. I'm asking you to do us a favor, right? It only helps you when you share this out. As we look at, we're coming into a potential, bull run here. And this is the time people need to know about the pulse chain. And this is a great way to do it. So I'd encourage you, if you have the Twitters, please share that link to Bear Market Blues. Just another touch point of engagement for folks to understand what's going on with the pulse chain. So I want to ask you a question, Frank. You're like a Renaissance man. I've kind of been learning this, classical voice. I've kind of been, I've looked at some of your stuff on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about you and your background, and what are you up to? Because you sound like you're a enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I sell real estate in downtown Chicago, and I've been doing that for 30 years. And all along, I've been pursuing my creative side as well. I studied classical voice with a private teacher for 5.5 years. I could sing a light opera at one point. And when I met my wife, she said to me, you really don't like singing operatically. And I was like, that's a good point. And so funny thing, I just stopped singing at that. I stopped singing classically. And it was the right choice. And so then I had done several years of improv at Second City, graduated from the conservatory there. And then when I was done there, I was like, I don't need to be anybody else. I can just be myself. A lot of people in improv and acting and stuff are pursuing some type of other character other than themselves. And when I was done, I was like, I know who I am. Here I am, this is me. So, and then after that, I was kind of looking for my purpose. I had a moment with God, and I was like, send me my purpose. Will you tell me what my purpose is here, right? At this time in my life. And someone said to me, you should write a book. You should write a book. And I was like, I'll never finish the book. I've got plenty of things I've started and not finished. And I had been giving workshops out of my home to single people on how to find their soulmate. And I had a perfect outline on helping them. And I started to see success stories of people, finding someone, getting married, living happily ever after, So I said to myself, well, if I'm going to write a book, this is what I'm going to do. So I wrote the book, Why Wait? Create Your Soulmate Now. And, that was another creative project that I did that's helped people. And, my intention is to help people. I really want to be a contribution. I've done a lot of personal growth and development myself, done a lot of spiritual work, done all kinds of different types of work on myself, and I can want to share that with people.
Yeah.
So the book itself, that was almost 20 years ago, and so that's kind of my life in a nutshell. And fast forward to now, I've still been writing songs, and I wrote a song in 2015, right before the Cubs went to the World Series. The year before they went to the World Series, there was a contest to write a Cubs victory song, and my song with my co-writer, he's a fireman here in Chicago. We wrote and finished second. So yeah, it was cool. So yeah, and I just keep pursuing my creative pursuits. In crypto, I've been in crypto now 4 years, full cycle. I got really in heavily in 2020, and I met you at my first text conference with Maddie. And since then, I've created a cryptocurrency mastermind within the community, just trying to make a difference. Just really, just taking whatever talents I have with crypto and help people make a difference. Bring people together and do our best to pump each other's backs.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It makes total sense. Well, Danny, you and I've known each other for quite some time now. It seems like we've gone through a lot together. How are you feeling about the market conditions right now and kind of where we are? I feel like we're getting a little bit of a view of something that's to come. What's your take, and what would you say to folks who may have those bear market blues?
I'd say hold the line.
Yeah.
We have this meme from Braveheart. They're just like, hold. That's kind of how I feel, because there's some folks that you can see it in the charts. people that there's people that people bring up in Twitter. It's like, oh, this guy was OG Hexagon day one. He's held all this time, and then he sells like five 100 million hex or something, and you're like, son of a gun, he held that long.
Mhm.
You never know what's going on in someone's life, what someone's situation. Was he diagnosed with terminal cancer? You never know. But the point is, you just see some of that, and you're just like, man, hang on. And then other folks are like, let him capitulate. That's what we need to get the bottom in there. I mean, I'm just like, hey, it's all going to come. Just the whole concept behind Hex in the very beginning was delayed gratification. And yeah, I can say that I'm sitting here in a nice house and everything, but thing is that there was for those folks in the beginning, right? There was a lot of holding, I would say delaying gratification, not doing things, holding off on projects, people selling things in order to selling their cars, a number of people that did kind of, I would say, are kind of extreme things, but it made an extreme difference in where they are now today.
Yep.
So just be like that. Just consider like you're like one of these guys in the beginning, and you had to wait 2 or 3 years to get yours. So, yeah, just wait, hold on, and we're coming. And I've heard people say that, hey, with regard to our system, our ecosystem, it's going to be lagging behind Bitcoin, behind even the other altcoins. I'm not the smart guy in the room, as far as that. I mean, but I can look at the chart and I can see it sure does look like bottoming to me. If you just look at the chart, it looks like a bottoming. And so we didn't specifically time this, but when our actually Frank was like, Danny, you need this song, man. He was like, we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss it. It's gonna be the bull market before we get here. And I was so busy with other stuff and had a bunch of stuff going on. and then it went down again. And then Frank's like, oh, okay, I guess it's not the bull market yet. and then here we are releasing it, and then it's just like going up. And so
that's good timing.
I think the timing is good. And I do wish that I could have gotten my part done sooner, once he finished his, but hey, it all works out.
It's worked out perfectly, because think about it. I even said this after, the delay, because I had delays before I gave it to you. And I'm like, if this launches, like I was 100% okay when it launched, because I was like, this could really kick off the bull market. This could, even though it's a bear market blues song, timing doesn't matter. It just came in and it could kick up. And even all day Monday and part of Tuesday, Pulse was pumping. I don't know why it was pumping. Somebody else does, but I look at the timing of the song coming out and I'm like, you know what? On the back of Danny's shirt is a Pulse chain. Pulse chain. Could it be new people coming into the community pumping Pulse? So coincidence, or Danny and I, scheduling this just to, get things going in the Pulse chain community.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is this is kind of a data point, I suppose. And I want to show this this video here.
Also, in other communities, they're already. I'm a member of the Token Metrics community. That's also in Austin, and they have AI indicators, and pretty much everything except for Pulse Chain and the other communities are, in the green, becoming bull markets. So we're not far away. We're not far away at all.
Well, and I think this is a leading indicator. If you guys haven't seen this, this is fantastic. But this is something that's leaking out really ahead of the Bitcoin ETF. And you think about the confidence. Take a look at this commercial. If you guys haven't seen it, this is for Bitwise.
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin. Look for Bitwise, my friends.
Bitcoin ETFs are coming and you're not ready.
Okay, so check this out. So that's the commercial, right? But what's amazing about it is they did I want you to see the full commercial, because that's the thing that's really cool. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So that's the most interesting man in the world, right?
Mhm.
Remember the whole Dos Equis stuff?
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, somebody dubbed it or it was like AI. Well, there's actually a full commercial where they have a guy talking about Bitcoin in the middle of like, okay, this isn't working. And they're like, I wonder if we can get that guy. And so for them to get the most interesting man in the world to come in and do a Bitcoin deal, to me, it's an indicator that, you know, hiring those actors, doing something at that level, planning ahead, they know something, right? And you know, there's all kinds of crazy talk about how much money is going to come into this ecosystem. Now, we know that ETFs are not directly into crypto, but it's going to have a tremendous impact. We saw that with the kind of failure to launch, you know, last time that we thought that the, you know, what is it, Cointelegraph that basically said it was launching. But yeah, there's a lot of leading indicators that we're coming into something that's really big. Frank, I want to ask you that kind of similar question is, you know, Danny said, hey, we're going to probably lag behind. And I agree. What's your sense on, you know, how should people be looking at the Pulse chain as it relates to, you know, when you look at Solana and you look at some of these other things, they're going up and to the right. And, you know, should people be concerned?
No, I don't think so, because everything that I've heard is all pointing to, as soon as they run out of Solana, as soon as they run out of AVAX, as soon as they run out of, you know, Cosmos, they're going to be bringing money into Pulse Chain, because they're going to be looking for another layer one that has virtually not taken off yet. So, and that's from a very good source. So that is a member of our mastermind group, and I really take his you know, he does the research on it. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think now is still a great time to dollar cost average into Pulse Chain. And, you know, it goes to the counterintuitive approach where, you know, you sell on euphoria and you buy on fear. Fear is a perfectly legitimate fear right now of a buy signal, you know? So, yeah, so
That's your take.
that's my take on it. Yep.
So, okay, so let's talk about this. You know, one of the things that, you know, as I do a lot of the streaming and talk to a lot of people, you know, a lot of people are talking about Richard Hart and the SEC. You know, there was a interaction that happened yesterday that was pretty funny about one of these guys who's a former SEC guy kind of chiming in and saying, you know, if you're avoiding being served, you know, you might get a summary judgment and it might be not good for you, which would kind of, you know, make it look like, hey, even though, you know, you tried to avoid being served, we're just going to basically say you defrauded. That's kind of a lodestone around the neck of Richard Hart if that's the way it goes, and it becomes this kind of summary judgment, I guess, where it just says, well, you're guilty. And I don't think we need that, you know. So with this kind of hanging over our head, I want to kind of chat about this concept. You know, I came in 2 days before big payday. Danny was in really early, you know, beginning of the adoption amplifier. I see that, you know, in these cycles that things kind of get reset. And I'm smart enough to know after 2 years of streaming that there's not a mistake of why Hex did what it did. There were people behind it with significant amount of resources, as well as all the ETH, right? Where'd the ETH go? That really protected the price and made sure that things moved in the right trajectory. Because I know as well as anyone else, if you don't have liquidity and you don't protect price and you don't show green candles in the face of everything else, people aren't attracted to it. And we've reset here. And, you know, Richard Hart's sitting on $600 million worth of DAI. And, you know, we haven't seen any of that deployed, whether we do or not. But there are a lot of people, big whales and folks who believe in the Pulse chain. And I feel like when they feel like the bottom is truly in, this thing could rip like no one can imagine, because you don't want to just throw money in to, you know, a bear market, because people just eat up your cash. And so what are your thoughts on this idea of, you know, in some respects it's market manipulation, but it's the thing that people are attracted to. And I think people are aware of that they'll bring resources in and protect the price of Pulse Chain, PulseX, Hex, all of those things. Give me your take on all of that in light of Richard Hart and the SEC stuff.
You want to go first, Danny?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
You're first.
I mean, to me, I mean, okay. So why don't you think about what you want to say, and I'll say this. To me, you know, when it comes to Yes, I agree with everything you said with regard to people kind of feeling like they're waiting, that kind of thing. But to me, it also there's a bit, being that we are decentralized, and especially now as we're extremely decentralized, um, we're almost in a vacuum. Obviously we have the bridge, and we have, the bridge, is free now to use. I mean, so they're encouraging people to come in, but we're kind of in we're in our own bubble. And like when you talk to somebody nowadays, it's a little bit harder for them to even the concept of getting into something that's decentralized. They're like, it's a little bit more challenging. So I wish that we had some, just, I would say, just somebody could help make it a little bit easier for some of these people coming on board. There's a gentleman that I know, good friends with, that has a tremendous amount of money in crypto right now. And whenever things switch to where it's off the website, he's like, "Hey, I can't. I was going to go buy some hex, and I can't figure out how to use it." So it was like I was having to educate him on that, and it was just like, it almost like he's too busy to learn how to do that, so he's just not going to do it. He's just going to go buy something else like Solana or something. It's because it's easier.
Yep.
And so I'd like to I'd like to see folks continuing to make tools and making it easier for people to get onboarded. And so yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it, is that we're not going to have as big of a mass adoption until we have it easier for people to be able to use the system.
Yeah. Frank, what do you think?
I think the fake out of when the Bitcoin ETF, when the coin, was it Cointelegraph that announced that?
Yep.
It just, like Randy Hilarski said, it was like, now everybody threw in there were so many people waiting.
Yep.
And now it was a fake out, and they put all their money in. I think the same thing is going to happen here. I think a lot of people are waiting for it to go up more so they can confirm that the bottom is in. Like let's say the bottom is in, they want it to go up, beyond sacrifice price before they start putting any money in. A lot of people do that. It's like, you don't sell the top exactly, but you sold somewhere near the top to cash out, right? They're not trying to be right and time the bottom. They got their money on the side because they know that the band that they're in, this is the band where they're going to make their money. They're not going to make it at the bottom, and they're not going to make it at the top. That's what I feel. That's the general sense I have.
Yeah. And I think Danny, your comments about making it easier, for example, we all know that 0x Coast, for example, is an easy way to get money into the Pulse chain, right? You can literally, essentially set up an account with them, and you can buy Pulse. And, we need more like that. I think one of the challenges is the fact that it's called 0x Coast. To be completely honest with you, it's like, what is that? How do I type that in? Is it a 0? Is it an O? Is it an X? Is it, as we think about branding, remember when Richard would talk about, we've got the best logo and the best domain name. Why? Because you actually know you can't spell hex any other way. And so there are basic things that I think are a part of marketing. And of course, what you guys are doing with the song and all that stuff is helpful. But yeah, we've got some headwinds, I think. But let's talk about the other wind in all of this. We've got Colorado and now California potentially not having Trump on the ballot. We're seeing, that's an indicator to me that things are falling apart from a, kind of stability perspective. We see it across the world with places like Argentina and the Netherlands. We've got people pushing back, and we've got, a lot of uncertainty in the market and coming. This whole idea of freedom and sovereignty and what the Pulse chain represents, right? Truly being decentralized, truly supporting the tenets of DeFi, holding your own keys and your coins and all of that. It seems like we've got maybe some headwinds, but we do have some stuff behind us that I foresee is going to support that the Pulse chain may be one of the only places that you can have this kind of private, freedom-based, transactions outside of a system that literally, Elizabeth Warren's trying to crack down on. What are your guys' thoughts on that kind of prevailing wind, that there's a shift in that, not just politically, but that we may see it standing on an island or being a shining city on a hill at some point in the future?
that's a not an easy question to answer. I think it's really you have to take it day to day and watch it unfold. I don't think that you can really make a general statement. I think it's just, I would say again, yeah, just take it day to day and not try to get too worked up with, me personally. I don't. The only thing I read, I don't listen to news. I don't read newspapers. I don't listen to media outlets. I read the sports section in the paper, and every once in a while I'll read a title. So I try to just don't even. That isn't even. I learned long ago that that was a strategy for me to keep a healthy mindset. So all I've done is focused on crypto. People ask me like, "What do you know about this and that?" I'm like, I really don't know. I just don't know. I don't read the papers. So I'm either listening to personal growth and development, writing stuff about it, or in dealing with working in crypto. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, shout out to Daniel Miller, talking about a guy who's on the front lines of this shift. Kudos to Daniel Miller and the TNM for their work to get 139,000 ballots signed to put on the Republican Party ballot in Texas this referendum, asking the voters of Texas, do you want to see, Texas become an independent nation once again? And that to me is just monumental. And our community was a big part of that. Danny, you know that for a fact. The fact that we were able to get this over the line is significant, and we played a role in that. I know you aren't just reading the sports page, right? What do you think about, what potentially is happening in this world and what the pulse chain could represent to that?
Yeah. So whenever you were talking about that with Trump and everything, to me, my mind just kind of went to thinking about Texas, because if they are successful in keeping him off a ballot in one of the states, that's just going to be fuel for the fire for Texas, because it's just more proof that just we don't have the control that we should have as independent states. That we as Texas, we're not going to have as big of a say as we should, like in a presidential election. But coming back to decentralized, well, that's what Texas is about, is decentralizing, unplugging from the central government, the central authorities, all these unelected bureaucrats that tell us what to do, tell us what we can and can't do, taking away our freedoms instead of just being servants of the people. They're basically our overlords, and that's what. So yeah, I just kind of come back to looking at that as more, of an encouragement that we need to keep going with decentralized, with what we're doing in decentralized finance. Keep doing what we're doing with trying to have an impact in our local communities, and our states. And then the federal government is self-imploding, and so we need to focus on what's happening here locally. To Frank's point about not really watching the national news.
Yep.
I've a few years ago I unplugged from that, just because it's just it's either lies, or it's just taking truth, but giving it to you at a certain time to distract you from something else. I mean, it's either lies or disruptions or distractions. Pretty much it. That's what national news is like for me. So
yeah. Well, let me bring it back to kind of the early days, because I think one of the big parts of what we want to do, I want to do on this channel, you guys want to do, I think we completely are aligned on, is if we think back to the beginning of Hex, right? Think about what had happened. It was the bear market, right? Remember, and I only know from what people have told me, Danny, you were there, but there was BitConnect, there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening at the time. People were beat down. We're in a bear market. And here's a guy, Richard Hart, saying, hey, I'm going to do something new, right? I'm going to build a better Bitcoin. And of course, there's a very small group of people who believed him. And then, of course, waited a long time, and you saw it, right? You saw it happen, and you got in, and a number of people got in at that time. And You know what's interesting is there were so many things kind of against you at that point, right? I mean, there was a lot of reasons at that time to not get in. And I feel like we're back at that spot again. I feel like, it's the nature of being at the bottom of the market. Things are uncertain. People don't know which way's up. And this is the greatest time. I was shilling Hex through 42 cents to 50 cents. And it's like, hold on, this is the time. I mean, buy low, sell high, right? This is the time. And I almost feel like I'm kind of jealous of those who would hear about Pulse Chain, Pulsax, Hex, Texan, all of these things right now because of the nature of the bottom, if you will. It's really what can we do? Like, how can we convince folks and help them understand the opportunity that's in front of them?
Definitely talking to them about that concept of buying low, selling high. Everybody knows that, but whenever when you're faced with, if you look at a chart and it's just going down, you're like, well, how much further is it going to go down? Well, if you're dollar cost averaging, number one, that's you don't have to be as concerned with it because you're just putting in as it's going down. So your average, it's always going to come out. I mean, historically, you look at obviously this isn't financial advice, but just look at the term dollar cost average. But look at this bottoming forming that's taking place, and I would say that if you consider, like, for example, you look at Pulsex, we're down not quite 1/10 of what people actually put in from a sacrifice standpoint. If you could get in, it's like, so you're saying telling these people you can get a better deal than the people that got in on the ICO. The people that were in the beginning, you get a better deal than them. Just consider, you don't want those people to buy in and just dump it when they get to sacrifice, but but hey, just let them know you're getting in at a better deal than people that have waited for 2 years. Yeah. So I would say give them that encouragement that's the way that people make true wealth, is by buying low. And so look at what's undervalued right now. And you're going to see, look at the RH ecosystem,
Yep. The number one thing I see, I look at Richard Hart and I'm really interested in the person that he is, right? And what drives him. And, I look at this whole glory thing, right? He wants to be, he's been right so many times and he's got a reputation that he cares about. And when you've done such a Herculean effort as, forking the Ethereum chain, we haven't even seen anything yet because, imagine this, Hex as a baby, right? You've birthed this baby of Hex. And of course, you've seen this wild experience of 10,000X in 623 days. And then you birth this other thing. We haven't seen, in my opinion, because of the SEC stuff, we haven't really seen the Richard Hart who will receive the glory. And I feel like all of these things will come together. But to me, so many other projects that I look at, it's basically poor people making tokens. And it's like, well, these guys just want to get rich. Well, when you see that the purpose and the person that's behind the Pulse Chain is actually about helping you win, and the real goal is to not be embarrassed and to not look like a fool. And if there's anything that Richard Hart can do, he's going to do it as it relates to the Pulse Chain. And I just don't think we've seen anything yet. We haven't seen him kind of bear down on the Pulse Chain because of the limitations right now. This whole SEC thing blows over. Get ready, because in my opinion, there's a lot of strings he can pull to really support the growth of this thing. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was thinking about the analogy you drew about Ford inventing the car. And I was in Detroit recently, and if you look at Detroit, you're just like, wow, everything here came out of the automobile. Yeah. And did they even think about market cap back then? No. Yeah. And I'm like looking at this here, and is this the advent of true decentralization where who cares about the market cap? It's going to dwarf, it has the potential to dwarf any centralized, decentralized finance, right?
Yep.
So that's the potential of it. I think that it has unlimited potential. So that's the best way that I can put it. I think it could be bigger than what we all expect.
Yeah.
And also, I'm fine however it goes, right? You got to be unattached to the outcome. You can't have, I mean, you put money in, you can afford to lose. I mean, when you put your money into Hex pre-adoption amplifier, did you have any idea you'd be able to buy a car from it? No. Like it's that kind. If everybody's putting money in it, they can afford to lose. It's a beautiful thing, because that's what people did with Bitcoin right from the start. They put money they could afford to lose, and they have these conversations. Oh, I should have sold it. Oh, I should have bought more. That's history repeating.
Yep. No, totally. Danny, what do you think?
I'm a little ADD, so it's
It's all
no,
good.
it's like no. I think people are not going to watch this video to get my take on things. They're going to be like, what stupid thing did he do today?
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking, I didn't fall over, I didn't fall down. So that's good.
Yeah.
I will tell you something that happened that's really funny. Is that so? I got this fire. Yeah, it looks like a green screen, right?
Yeah.
It's not. That's really my fire back there. But
beautiful.
I got the fire going, and I ran in there to fix my hair, for the thing. And then Camille's like yelling, "Danny!" And I was like, "What's going on?"
No.
I walked in. I forgot to open up the flume. So this room was just full of smoke. I mean, it was like there was smoke in here, and so
oh my gosh,
she was kind of pretty irritated at me. And then so she has the doors open, and so I'm running trying to find fans, like blow the smoke out of here. It looked like I was ready to have like a laser show in here or something. So that I was a little bit late, getting into the green room, but that's why. So we had the fire going, but and I had to crank the AC up so that we could have a fire here and I not be sitting here sweating.
Oh
we're in Texas, so it's not
real world problems.
It's not
you're doing it. You're doing it for the people, man. Well, hey guys, I wanted to give a shout out to coming up here in 10 minutes. DJ Cryptomatic. He spends all year. He gets all of the streamers and all of the hexagons and everybody together, and he does a Christmas special with music on Twitch. And so that's coming up in 10 minutes. I want to encourage everybody, go in, even if you don't have a bunch of time to hang out, at least go in there, pass the good word to DJ Cryptomatic, because he spent a lot of time and effort putting this thing together. And he's done this is the third year in a row. So go check out DJ Cryptomatic and on Twitch live with Papa B as co-host. And I just really want to encourage you guys to go over there. It's always a fun time, great music, and celebrating. You're going to hear from like so many people in the community, and it's a reminder of how many people are out there doing stuff like you guys are, right? They're putting their creative ability. Here's DJ Cryptomatic, consistently always serving the people. And Frank, I know you know this really well, and all of your study as well. What's the power of serving people?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Real quick on the Twitch thing. So for dum-dums like me, and you got a lot of old timers too that watch this program. What is that? What is Twitch? How do you get there?
Okay, so I'm going to put in the chat here. Twitch is obviously, was originally gaming, but they allow people to play music. So I put this into the chat. It's twitch.tv/DJ_Cryptomatic. And that's his live stream of, basically music and greetings from folks around the community. He literally has pulled together maybe even 100 of, hexagons and pulsicans that have sent in, videos and content and all that. It's a really great time. So yeah,
okay, cool.
It's another streaming platform that you guys can watch just like this. You may have to log in if you want to comment. But Frank, I guess let's wrap it up with this. You're a guy who has spent the time. You recognize that not only bringing your skills and abilities, but your encouragement and serving others is a key to winning, right? And can you encourage folks out there that maybe have the bear market blues, that that see all this stuff and go, do I really have anything to offer? What would you say to them?
I would say take action, even if it's just a little bit of action. If you can go to an event, go to an event. If you can, jump on someone's live stream. A lot of people have live streams where you can stop in for the day for the 15 minutes, like Corey and Dane, have their show where you can stop on and just gradually integrate yourself into the community. I've been going, I met Matt at my first Hex conference, and I was jealous of others that I wasn't at the first conference,
Yeah.
And me personally, I really enjoy being around people. And so I would say just get out there and start creating events. And here's another thing. So I created my mastermind from one person or from two people. We started talking amongst ourselves every week at a certain time. And then gradually I started inviting people from the Pulse Hex community to it, and then got stickiness. Now there's, on its way to 100 people in the mastermind, right?
Wow.
So yeah, that have been on that have been in the mastermind, in and out, And so number one, when we only had, and I'll try to make this short, do whatever you can. A mastermind is two people. Create a mastermind where you're passionate, where you and someone else passionate about crypto, passionate about the Richard Hart ecosystem, passionate about Hex. Just talk once a week, set a time, and then you can bring other people into it. You can bring people from all around crypto and start talking about it, and then they'll learn about the Richard Hart ecosystem, right? And we, a bunch of us at the time, 7% of the mastermind was at the Hex conference in Miami, right?
Nice.
And we went out to dinner, and we called it the first Pulse X meetup. And I give Maddie Allen credit for it being a meetup, because I was like, what do you think of the first Pulse X conference? And he's like, do a meetup. And I'm like, meetup. Okay. So the next night at Ocean Prime in Miami, there were 15 of us we were supposed to have 15 people there, right? And we only had 9 confirmed. And I went on the Telegram group with the Miami Hex meetup group itself. And I was like, this is our own ecosystem. Like, why are the 10 of us just talking to each other? We got to get more people involved. So I clicked the button, told everybody to meet at Ocean Prime. And before you know it, there were 70 plus people at Ocean Prime for the first Pulse X meetup, first official Pulse X meetup. So my point is, you can do a lot in a very short period of time. All you have to do is start, engaging, clicking buttons within the community, and create a little event around, create a luncheon. Go create a luncheon at one of your favorite spots. Make sure it's your favorite spot, because you'll have great food if nobody shows up, right?
Yep.
So that is one way I do it. And I always, I tell people too, is like for me, I serve myself, I serve God, I serve other people, your fellow mankind. So those are all great ways to engage in the community and make a difference.
Wow. It's so great. Well, I love it that guys like you are in this community. It makes me feel like, hey, this is the right spot. We are at home, if you will. Danny, thanks so much for sharing your talents with everyone. The question is, are you guys going to be willing to sing something as we exit? Like some maybe Christmas carol, something that we all would know. Is that even a possibility, you think?
I don't know, but I can tell you what I was thinking about earlier. Whenever one of the moments where I kind of ADD'd out, as I was sitting there thinking to myself, see if I can make this thing work. Here you go.
Ooh.
Nice.
Come on.
Danny, by the way, you're hilarious, man.
I may not be the most interesting man in the world, but even I know that Pulse Chain is the place to be. Okay.
Done.
No. Actually, I was thinking about we should do like a spoof of that commercial.
Oh yeah.
And where you have you can set it up the same kind of environment, and then talk about Pulse Chain instead of Bitcoin.
Well, you've got the right beard for it, because that's a key to that whole meme there. Let's do it, man. I love it. So am I gonna get you to sing?
All right, sure.
Frank, are you
I don't have any music. We don't have any music.
Let me do this. I won't sing the song, but I'll share the acoustic version of what I did for the song. So it starts out, every day I wake up, feels like a breakup. Red candles down, people fudding bad news. I got the bear market blues, the crypto bear market blues. So that's the version I did of it. You want to maybe do, I don't know. It's
yeah. Bring it, Danny. Danny's always got something for us.
Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, let's see. We got what? Let's just do the little Christmas here. How about
Yeah, we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
all right,
here.
all right, all right. But there's no music.
Hex
I don't
Monkey,
have any
shout out to
music.
you.
I
may
don't.
not be the most
If I play
DJ.
music, I don't think it's gonna work. Here
Yeah.
you go. Here, I guess I can. Here you go.
Yeah, you can put it right up to the mic.
Yeah, we'll do that. How's that?
Hex Monkey Drix, good to see you, man. The Godfather J6 is starting to stream. We want to support that. Humberto Gonzalez, all the way from the Dominican Republic. Glad to have you here. Folks, please go over after this. We got 3 minutes until DJ Cryptomatic is on Twitch with this big Hex Christmas, the Hexmas special. Really encourage you to go over there and say hello at least. I would love it if you would say, Crypto Heartbeat sent me. I told him that I would do anything we can to have the raid of his stream here. I look forward to this every year. And so I'm going to be heading over there here in a couple minutes, right after Danny sings us out. And so, Pamela, it is so good to have you here once again. And Daniel Miller, thanks for stopping in. It's great. Always good to see him. Whenever you're ready, Danny.
All right, we'll give this a try.
All right.
It's gonna be hokey here.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, we're the masters of hokey around here.
I have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue memories start calling. You'll be doing all right in your Christmas away, but I have a blue Christmas.
Yeah. Awesome. Frank, thanks so much for joining. Danny the singer. Guys, share Bear Market Blues out there and let's pump our bags. Thanks, guys, for joining.
Thanks for having us on. Love you guys. Talk to you next time.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, folks, this is great. What a great way. Blue Christmas, Bear Market Blues. Go over to DJ Cryptomatic. This is it. This is what we looking forward to and celebrate with fellow Hexicans, Pulsicans, Pulsexicans, Texicans, whatever you are. Head on over there and let's give some support to DJ Cryptomatic. Take care of yourself, folks, and do not mess with Texas. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas to you.